China has been really one of the keys to success, and we saw it in terms of 4Q deliveries. And we think China is going to be about over 40% of deliveries for Tesla in 2022.
How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel, and in this video, we are going to be talking about Tesla stock. We're going to go over exactly the record-breaking numbers that came out from China, the delivery numbers for the month of December. We also going to be hearing from one of the analysts that recently came out and increased their price target for Tesla stock and why he believes China is an important market for Tesla and how Tesla could potentially be dominating that market pretty soon. And we're also going to be talking about exactly what to expect for Tesla stock for the next few days. We're going to be looking at some key price point levels. So we're going to be talking about all this important information coming up. As you can see over here, we have Tesla stock today that's sitting at $1,064.40. We're only up 0.59%. We actually opened red on the day. There were some important events that was happening today. We had Jerome Powell that was speaking and the market was shaky a little bit. But as you can see, Tesla stock closed positive for the day. Comparing Tesla stock to the overall stock market, as you can see over here, we had a relatively bullish day for the overall stock market. Tesla being up 0.59%. We have other stock that outperformed Tesla. We have Amazon that's up 2.4%, Apple that's up, PayPal which is up 4%. It was getting crushed. These high growth stocks were getting crushed, but today it had a pretty good bounce, and of course energy sector is performing very, very well. It's one of the best performing sectors in the world stock market last year and also is doing pretty well for 2022. But now let's talk about some of the important news that came out for Tesla stock. One of the important news that we talked about yesterday is that Goldman Sachs picking Tesla as a top pick for 2022 and they increased their price targets. We also have Morgan Stanley that came out and increased their price target for Tesla stock, and that is pretty good. As you can see over here, the price target that they raised is from $1,200. They raised it to $1,300, and they're expecting the delivery numbers for Tesla for 2022 to be around 2 million vehicles delivered. So that is going to be a high expectation that they have for Tesla, and I believe they can meet that expectations because of all of the massive gigafactories that are going to be opening up pretty soon. So we expected to get these more analysts to come out and increase their price targets based off of the massive daily numbers that we've got, and we're getting them, and that is phenomenal for Tesla. Another important news is that the Tesla delivered 70,000 vehicles in the month of December, which is a record local delivery for China. So that is pretty massive. China is one of the most important markets that Tesla could potentially be dominating in the near future. Of course, there's a lot of competitions coming up. Later on, we're going to be hearing from one of the analysts that went out recently, talked about the China market, how that is very important for Tesla. We're going to be hearing pretty soon. But as you can see over here, Tesla actually delivered more than 70,000 vehicles in December, which only out of those vehicles, 245 actually got exported, and the remaining was actually for the Chinese market. In November, Tesla Shanghai sold 52,859. So as you can see, that is a pretty massive increase. For the month of December, we're sitting at 70,847 vehicles. Another important news for Tesla is that they got the green light to produce 2,000 Model Y bodies at Giga Berlin as they await the final approval to open the plant. So, of course, when they officially open the Gigafactory, they're going to be producing more vehicles. So that is pretty phenomenal news for Tesla stock too. So now let's go over and hear from one of the analysts that we talked about in the past, which is Dan. He talks about the importance of the Chinese market for Tesla, and he recently did an interview today. So we're going to be hearing from him, and I'm going to come back. We're going to be talking about exactly what to expect for Tesla stock in the short term. So let's check out this video first.
Tesla has what I call a really high-class problem. It's always had more demand than it has supply. So how important is this Austin production facility along with the one that's coming online in Berlin? Especially as, there are legacy car makers like Ford and GM that are now jumping on the bandwagon and getting into the EV race.
Yeah, look, in terms of what we're seeing from a capacity right now, Tesla doesn't have a demand issue, it's a supply issue. That's why Berlin and especially Austin are so important to what I believe is reaching about 2 million units by the end of this year. That would double capacity. And in terms of what we're seeing, it's a $5 trillion market opportunity in terms of EV, and it's the biggest transformation to the auto industry since 1950s. But for Tesla, the linchpin to the success from here on forward continues to be expanding supply.
Yeah, and Dan, following to that note, I read your note where you said that launching obviously production in the Lone Star State would alleviate supply chain bottlenecks, also accelerate production. What are your expectations on how soon would cars begin to be rolling off the assembly line?
Yeah, I mean, based on all of our work, in and around Austin, we think starting next week, we're going to get into the early stages of what I believe are cars rolling off the plant. Now, a formal announcement is something the street is looking to expect probably on the company's conference call in later this month. But it's important because Austin launching by January and ultimately Berlin getting through some of the red tape in Europe probably by mid to late February, that's really right now what the street's looking for to expand that capacity. And I think when you look at Austin in particular, it's been very smooth in terms of the build out. Hiring's been very strong over the last few months. And that's why Musk has made such a bet on Austin in terms of that being really the golden jewel of the ecosystem.
And Dan, let's go to China. Tesla's profitability in China is a lot higher in the US, but with all the recent challenges with supply and demand, do you still see that that's a growth opportunity there?
China has been really one of the keys to success, and we saw it in terms of 4Q deliveries. And we think China is going to be about over 40% of deliveries for Tesla in 2022. It's a tightrope in terms of China. You have domestic competition increasing across the board, geopolitical issues, U.S.-China cold tech war. But if you look what's happening right now, that China growth story is actually accelerating for Tesla into 2022. And that we believe is worth about $500 per share to the story. And it's something we believe is underestimated by the street, which is why we have a $1,400 base case price target.
And Dan, just to reiterate what I said earlier, there has been huge demand for these cars and supply has been the issue trying to keep up. So what's your prediction for production capacity by the end of this year? Tesla has constantly struggled with that issue.
Yeah, we think about 2 million will be capacity by the end of this year. I think the chip shortage starts to moderate significantly going into February, March across the board. Tesla's been a little more Teflon-like there. And I think this is one where as they navigate, right now in EV land, a lot of competitors. We think it's not a zero-sum game. Ford's going to be successful at GM, Lucid, VW in Europe, and of course, NIO in China. But overall in EV land, as Tesla's world, everyone else is paying rent at this point, and that's what we're seeing play out in Q4.
Dan, just to wrap this up really quick, I saw an analyst note from Morgan Stanley that pretty much classified the EV race as a marathon and says that Tesla is on lap 21 and the others are pretty much lagging behind, maybe per se lap number 2. Do you have a similar sentiment to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great sort of way to put it because it's about the moat from the supercharger. It's about the battery technology and distribution. And it's one where Tesla continues to kind of expand that lead. You're going to have competitors from all shapes and sizes. And the haters will continue to hate in terms of Tesla, but what they're proving, and I think you're seeing with Austin, you'll see with Berlin, they're just further flexing their muscles going 2022.
Before we talk about a detailed breakdown of Tesla stock and what to expect, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell. We talk about Tesla stock every single day. And of course, if you want free stocks too, check out the links in the description box below. So as you can see over here, we have Tesla stock that's sitting at $1,064.40. We're holding this important $1,000 price level. We bounced back off of this level yesterday, which is looking pretty good. And we're expecting some more important news to come out for Tesla stock in the month of January. So another important economic data that we need to be watching out for coming up for tomorrow is that we have the consumer product index numbers coming out tomorrow. So that could potentially shake up the overall market. But we had a slight bounce that happened with the overall market today, even though we had Jerome Powell speaking and answering questions about, interest rates and etc. So the overall market is looking pretty good right now. Seems like it's recovering, but we have these key important, economic data coming out for this week that can shake up everything. So you have to keep in mind that. But for Tesla stock, it's looking pretty strong. We can potentially see a continuation for Tesla to continue to potentially go higher and higher and break out of this $1,100 level that we need to be watching out for pretty soon. Earnings is coming up in a matter of weeks. We might expect Tesla to announce their earnings by the end of January or at the beginning of February. And we're getting the consistent upgrade of different analysts coming out that, as we expected, they're increasing their price target. They're expecting Tesla to deliver this amount of vehicles by 2022. We're getting a lot of positive news that can potentially drive up Tesla stock higher. And of course, when we get the official opening of the Giga factory in Austin and also in Berlin, that's going to be a massive catalyst for Tesla stock to go higher too. So that's going to be key for Tesla. So watch out for this $1,100 price level. If we test it, if we break out of these price level, that's going to be pretty good. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Tesla stock. What do you think about Tesla massive daily numbers that came out from China? So let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell, and if you want free stocks, check out the links in the description box below. But I catch you guys on another video. Have a wonderful day.